Hello everyone, this is episode 12 of the podcast radio show with me, Ben Lister, here on YouTube, the YouTube video version. My interview of episode 12 was with legendary broadcaster Steve Jordan, so yeah, really hope you enjoy it and I'll see you for the wrap up. Do join me again. Do join me again soon. Do join me again soon for another podcast and I'll see you in the wrap up. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to another podcast. It's 2021. We are in lockdown. Welcome to episode 12 of 2021 and the last in the current series of the Ben Lister podcast radio show. Here on Hull Kingston Radio, 107.4 FM. And in previous episodes, we have had guests such as Stephanie Hurst, Sean Goldsmith and broadcaster Patrick Billington and BBC Radio Humberside's very own Lucy Clark and broadcaster Dan Murphy and motoring journalist Paul Woodford. Mighty podcaster Leeton and his protege from the Layman Show, DJ Ashley Noble, then Kim Harrison from BBC Radio Humberside, Chris Marsden, and last time out we had broadcaster Jim Coulsons, but today he is a head honcho at many different radio stations and a legend of broadcasting, a stadium announcer at football stadiums and now a presenter at BBC Radio Derby. It's an honour, a childhood hero of mine. It's the one, the only, Steve Jordan. Hello, Steve. Welcome along to my podcast radio show.
Hello, Ben. Yeah, more stations than a Monopoly board, I think you'll find, down my career. But it's been a long career, that's probably why.
Yeah, so how are you today?
All good, thank you very much. Just getting ready to go on the air here at BBC Radio Derby today. So it's nice to be able to cross back home, as it were, with my home city.
Yeah, you're a Hull legend from what I've heard and from some colleagues of mine.
I wouldn't go that far. That's very kind of you, Ben. Thank you.
We've got 5 questions about your broadcast career.
I'm ready.
If that's okay. You ready to rumble in the jungle?
Yep. Shoot.
Okay, let's
do this,
begin. Ben. Question 1. Where did you start your broadcast career?
Well, officially, my professional career started in 1993 at Links FM, where they put me on. The very first program I did was at 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning, 5 till 8. And part of the program used to be reading out the potato prices at about 7:30 in the morning. So what I had to do when I got in before 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning was about 4:30 in the morning, ring up a pre-recorded line and down all the different potato prices, your King Edwards, your Maris papers, etc. Write them all down in a special photocopied sheet and then read them all out later on in the morning. That luckily didn't last for very long. I then got promoted up the schedule and ended up on the mid-morning show on a Sunday. And then I ended up doing the breakfast show for just over a year before I joined Viking FM for the first time. I've been at Viking 3 times, but Viking, I joined at the end of 9. Was working in I was working at Royal Mail. But I was doing different shifts every week. So I was doing the early shift one week, late shift one week, and then night. So I wasn't able to give a regular commitment. So I ended up going on 28-day RSL stations in Hull, starting with Radio Cracker, if anybody remembers that, in 1990, I think. I did that for a couple of years, and it became Cod City FM. There was also a station called Universal FM. And so that's where I got my grounding from. That's where I got my demo tape to send to Links FM. And within weeks, really, me sending that tape, luckily, I must have sent it at the right time. So I ended up at Links FM in September 93 when I officially started.
Wow, you're a living legend.
I think I'm living. Hold on there. Yeah, I'm still here. Still here, Ben.
I remember when I used to listen to you on Viking on drive with me and my mother. We used to drive up to Bridlington and places like that, and we used to hear your voice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the third time I ended up back at Viking FM. So that would have been 2012 to 2015, I think.
2013, actually, it was the weekend, because I remember watching the snooker when I got up to Bridlington.
Yeah. So I was there at that time. But first time around I was there 95 to 99, and then 2003 to 2007. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Can't believe I remember all this and retain all this information. I don't know where it comes from. The older I get, the more it amazes me that I can remember all of this.
Question 2. Who were your inspirations in broadcasting growing up?
Oh, now then. Well, I think firstly, I always listened to the radio and I always enjoyed it. I think I got my first real interest when Viking started. I remember I was a paper boy at the time, so I'd been 15 years old, and listening to the station launching in the morning with that amazing song from the Kath Baxter jingles that would open the station, and getting really excited, and then without getting washed, used to put on yesterday's clothes and go and do the paper round. So I enjoyed listening to Viking. But before that, certain presenters I remember listening with the family, really. So I remember on a Sunday morning back in the early 80s, Noel Edmonds used to have a Sunday morning show on Radio 1 where he'd play a lot of very different music. Really, really enjoyed that. I've always been a fan of breakfast shows down the years. Simon Mayo, of course, is a legend, but I think the presenter that I kind of aspired to be, but never really became, but always enjoyed listening to, whether it be on a tea time show or, of course, the finest top 40 presenter there ever was, Bruno Brooks. To me, was an absolute legend. Got to meet him one night. He was doing a performance at Waterfront, and I got to sort of get past security and end up in the DJ box and had my picture taken with him. But the way Bruno used to do the chart, every link in and out, little information as possible, really short links, snappy jingles, song. It was awesome. It was such a great listen. So I think, yeah, those are the people that I really admired and maybe aspired to be. Steve Wright was always a great listen as well in the afternoon on Radio 1. What a show that was.
My top 3 inspirations and broadcasting heroes are Michael Parkinson, Terry Wogan, and Ken Bruce and Tony Blackburn as well.
That's 4, Ben. That's 4. If you've got to lose 4. One of them, which would you lose to make it a top 3?
Ken Bruce, because Tony Blackburn is the one, the only.
The one and only, the original. And yeah, lots of love for Tony out there. I know there is. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've actually worked with him before alongside him.
I have. Yeah, we're at KCFM together. We used to do Friday mornings at 10 o'clock after me, and we did a couple of pub quizzes around Hull together. I mean, I can't even believe it now thinking about it. And there was one instance where I was getting ready to do the breakfast show at KCFM. I'd arrive about 5 o'clock, just gone actually, because the paper shop opened at 5. I'd get the papers at 5 and then go straight in. And one morning found that Tony hadn't been able to sleep during the night and was in before me. Tony is a man that never sleeps. He will admit that. He hardly ever gets any sleep. He's just wired, bless him. And he got himself a new iPhone, and he was sat for the first 2 hours of my breakfast show in the studio with me. And I'm trying to concentrate with Tony in the corner working out his new iPhone, showing me how everything worked in between while the songs were on. And it was just mad to know that this broadcasting legend was sat opposite in the same room as you, watching while you're doing a breakfast show, which is the show that he was made famous for doing.
Yeah, he's an inspiration, and you felt like you were being judged as well a bit.
I don't think I was, because I sort of knew Tony a bit by then, and yeah, I think he's just a lovely bloke. It's Tony. Yeah. Anybody who's been on this podcast already, who's worked with Tony like I have, will probably tell similar stories about what he's like as a bloke. Very generous man. Very overwhelmed to meet him, but I didn't want to be.
Yeah. Question 3. What is your favourite part about the job?
My favorite part about the job, I think, apart from doing the show, and if it goes well, it's brilliant. There can be instances where, and any presenter will tell you this, if you start the program and you trip over your words or you mess up or something like that, it sort of becomes a recurring theme like that. I've just messed up there. So that bodes well for half an hour when I'm on the air. Anyway, so doing the program and getting it done, I think. So I think once you start the program, you hit the first jingle and you're away. And then when you've completed the program, and if it's gone well, particularly, it's great. And there's no greater feeling. If it hasn't gone so well, though, then you do have the potential, even now. I mean, I've been doing this for, 28 years now. There is the potential to lose sleep. But when it goes well, I think actually doing the program and getting everything that you've prepped away and done, and hopefully sounding great, there's no feeling like it, Ben.
Yeah, I sometimes go wrong in my podcast sometimes, but I get it edited out, you see, and edited down to make it.
Don't tell people the secrets of how it works, Ben. You need to keep it up there. Don't tell people it's edited. It all went well first time. You've got to tell everybody that. It all went well the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter Levy, when I interviewed him 2 years ago, nearly taught me that trick.
Yeah, editing is great, but I didn't tell you that either.
I know. Question 4. How has COVID affected your life and line of work?
I'm incredibly lucky. This is what I always say, because amazingly, I'm a key worker. Who knew? Which means I've still been able to leave the house every day. I've been able to have some kind of normality. Unfortunately, my workday has been made shorter because they want less people in the building for less time. So I'm finding myself working a little bit more at home and coming in later and working that way. We've been very lucky with instances of COVID within the building. I'm getting tested twice a week, and so far, touch wood, it's all good. Hopefully I didn't start a jingle there when I pressed the wood. Anyway, so yeah, I've been very fortunate, but then again, I have to sit down in an afternoon. I'm doing a music and news show, so we're talking about COVID an awful lot. It can get quite distressing at times. You're hearing stories of people who haven't fared so well. You're also hearing great stories from people who have come out of the other side, who are doing really well, who are doing good stuff for their community, and trying to look on the positive side. And that's a nice angle when we get those kind of stories on.
As you say, yeah, on our side this week, we've got James Hogarth on our drive this week.
Bless James. Say hello to him for me. I haven't seen James for quite some time.
Yep, and think he's covering for the wonderful Andy Comfort, who may be coming on this podcast in a few weeks.
That would be good. I'm sure Andy will be good.
Yeah. I've got 2 drive presenters so far. I've also had you and Stephanie Hurst, who does the Radio Leeds one.
Yeah, we're queuing up
in
our metaphorical drive cars.
Yeah. And in a few weeks, I may have Howard Pressman from BBC Sheffield.
Excellent. That'll be good as well.
Yeah. Question 5. We're nearly at the end of the interview. What advice would you give to young aspiring broadcasters?
Perseverance, because many times I nearly gave up. It seems like I always sent the wrong tape to the wrong person at the wrong time. Listen to me, that's how old I am. I just said tape. It's not that anymore, is it? It's all digital. So, even if you don't hear back straight away, don't panic. It's only when you get into radio that you realize how busy that the people that for all of those years you were sending tapes to, never hearing back, how busy they were, how, they had to really make time to sit down and listen to people who want to be on the radio, who want to come and do this amazing job that we all do. And make sure that what you send to break into this profession is as tight and as real as it can be. Make sure you're using all your good stuff as early as possible, even if, and it's awful to say, even if you send a 5-minute demo to an editor, a program controller, director, they're not listening to all 5 minutes, and you think that's not long. And when you listen back to it, you think that's not a very long demo. The chances are they won't reach the 5-minute mark. So you've got to hit them, and hit them early, and make sure you get your personality, your use of language, your enthusiasm, and how good you are. Make sure you are heard, and quickly get it, all the good stuff out of the way.
Wow, that's an inspirational answer, and that's a great answer for the young generation.
Yeah, get in, like the SAS, get in and get out without anybody noticing. that's essentially how to do it. Because I used to make 45-minute demo tapes on one side of a C90. What was I thinking? No wonder nobody was listening.
That's it for today. Thank you for joining us, Steve.
A pleasure, Ben. Thank you very much for asking me. It was really nice to see your invitation. So I'm glad that I've joined your esteemed list of interviewees. Thank you very much for having me. Real pleasure.
Join us again here on Hull Kingston Radio 107.4 FM. Join us again for another podcast. But for now, please give it up for the one, the only Steve Jordan. Thank you very much for listening, and that's a wrap. Interview with legendary broadcaster Steve Jordan. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope it filled a gap somewhere in your life, and I really hope it made you smile. Yeah, that was Steve Jordan from the BBC and Viking chatting about his career so far. Yeah, I really hope you enjoy it, and my next two uploads will be with broadcaster Nigel Bond on my Chatbox collection, and Mike Coolan to end the day. And then I'll be uploading again from Wednesday onwards, taking a few days off. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like, subscribe, comment, dislike, whatever you have to do to this video, and I'll see you in the next one. BL out, and that's a wrap.